All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Monday. It's the host with the most, Mr. Danny Pesci. Guys, how we doing today, man? How the heck are we? It's another beautiful day. I'm down here in Southern California. We got some rain going down. It is raining. It is pouring. The old man is snoring. And we're just checking on everything right now, making sure it's all lined up. I'm in the Facebook group. Sarah, it does not look like it is streaming. Could you double check on that? Oh, it is streaming. We are here. So guys, welcome to episode 3 of the Big Beautiful Broadcast. This is an episode to provide value to the Solar Pros Facebook group. This is a group where that's been around for a long time. Sonny was the steward of this group before. I am the current steward of it right now, along with my partner Will in the group. And our goal here is to provide you guys with value. Okay, there's a lot of groups out there, but what groups are bringing you value on a consistent basis? We like Solar Pros to be that group where you come, get knowledge, get educated, and come push yourself to get to the next level. Okay, this Big Beautiful Broadcast, we got 6 episodes. We're going live every single Monday around 12 p.m. Pacific. And we did a poll in the group asking what 6 subjects do Solar Pros want to talk to the best at. So I went out, found some of the best in each of those subjects so they can come here, give you some value, and tell you a little bit about the story, their story. You get to meet some of the community members, talk with them, see what they're doing to get well. So if you guys are tuning in right now, participate, throw in some comments. We can see you guys' comments and all of that. So if you guys have questions, go in the chat and comment and ask some questions and we can answer them for you. So if you guys are tuning in right now, go in the comments, tell me where you're checking in from. Where are you guys checking in from right now? Solar Pros, where are you guys at? Charlie, what's up, baby? If you guys want to know the best, one of my favorite people from Freedom, Charlie Heaton is a stud. He's in Texas. He is the man. And we just made some custom slicks for his group. Charlie's group is going to see a nice pop in production after he starts getting those bad boys out there. So, guys, with that being said, today's episode is brought to you by Deal Machine. Deal Machine is a service that you can get homeowner data from. So if you're going into the winter months and you want to knock and get homeowner data, you can actually go onto a map, find the areas that you want, target them, get the homeowner data, scrape it, and then contact them. So if you guys are looking to get new homeowner data, Deal Machine is the place where everybody's going. They also have a cool-ass knocking app. I personally went out and knocked and was selling real estate last month using Deal Machine's data. It was incredible. They had interest rates on there, everything, and we ended up doing 18 appointments in one day. So it was a fantastic app. Deal Machine kicks butt. We'll put a link in the comments so you guys can check them out. And then the other group that's one of our sponsors is Valeri. They are a recruiting service. The owner of that platform is a buddy that I used to sell with back at Vivint. He was the recruiter, and he's taken his skills to the main playing field. So if you're looking to recruit your team, reach out to them. They will send you guys a link, and we'll show you how they can add a couple guys to your roster every single month and crush it. And they're really affordable. So with that being said, guys, check them out. They're our sponsors. We'll talk more at the break about them. But for today, the subject that a lot of people were interested is getting referrals. How do you get referrals in this game? What's up, Haley? Checking in from Arizona. Be careful out there, Haley. I see you've got red hair. The sun is not your friend. Make sure you're wearing sunscreen out there. Be careful. Be careful. Sunscreen in Arizona, hand in hand. What's up, Alex Martin? Checking in from, I think you're over in Missouri. How you doing, man? You're working in the Ozarks. I remember that. You were an extra in the movie Ozarks on Netflix. But what's up, Alex? How you doing? You still crushing it out there? Where are you guys checking in from today? We're going to hear from Ben Mack, who is a good friend of mine who has been selling solar for the last 10 years. A full-time income living off of referrals. How does he do it? That's all we're going to find in today. So if you're a sales rep or you're a manager and you want to learn how to get more referrals, this episode is for you. If you're tired of grinding and you got to go create new deals, well, guess what? You're always going to have to grind, but you can find ways to get easier deals, and that's from referrals. So Ben, we're going to hear a little bit about his story. We're going to see some of his methods so that you guys can go out there and apply those and crank it. Glenn Myers is checking in from Florida. What's up, man? I was just out there in Tampa the other day. Good to see you, Glenn. Man, where are you guys checking in from? Where are you checking in from? So Good. Go in the comments. Tell me where you guys are at. But yeah, we're going to hear from Ben today. Ben is a good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. I've seen him in action. He has a very interesting and unique way of getting referrals that is applicable and can be scaled out. So we're going to bring Ben Mack to the stage. Ben.
That was great. Thank you.
God bless me and God bless Ben. Thank you for jumping on, man. A smile like that, that's probably the key. I don't know what gets more referrals, man, that grin or your techniques, but we're going to find out today, guys. Eric Garcia is checking in. Jenny Har is checking in from San Marcos. How you doing, Jenny? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, man, nothing like pure filtered water. It's delicious. Eric Garcia, San Antonio, Service Summit. Heard that was a fantastic event. I'll be there next year. Yeah. So, Ben, dude, what's going on, man? Where are you checking in from right now? Which mansion are you living in today?
I'm in San Diego. I'm in Solana Beach.
Ooh, beautiful San Diego. Is that where you've been? Is that you born and raised? That's where you've always been at?
No, I was born and raised up like LA, Agora Hills, north of LA a little bit.
Got it.
Yeah, moved down here in 2010. Yeah, 2010, and was like, I'm never leaving. So it's a good life. It's pretty mellow. A lot of beach and water activity stuff. So yeah, it's good.
Dude, beach and LA or San Diego activities. Lonnie Johnson is checking in from LA, Louisiana, Lonnie, or from Los Angeles? Who knows? But tell us in the comments where you're checking in from. Guys, if you're tuning in, today's episode is how to get more referrals. I brought on Ben Mack, who's been selling solar for over 10 years and hasn't knocked a door. How does he do it? Through referrals. Tune in. He's going to tell us the secret sauce, but he's in San Diego. He is from San Diego. Would you feel that San Diego is like one of the meccas for solar? I know you were there from the beginning with the big pop. Tell me a little bit about San Diego solar.
Yeah, I got into solar. Somebody gave me a mini solar cell phone charger years ago before I was even in solar, and I took it to the beach one day and charged up and like plugged my phone in. And when I like watched the phone light click on that it was charging while I was sitting in the sun, I'm like, wow, this is actually really cool. And I had no idea really. I mean, I knew what solar did and the idea, but then I started researching it and stuff, and I was coming from being in alarms for 8 years, and I was like, oh, what is this? Got into solar without being involved in like a door-to-door program. I actually just called a local company. I want to see what their process was, and went on to be a sales rep for them. Didn't love their model. It was like a setter closer model, but very, very high pressure, which I just did not like. And you had to start at this ridiculous like $75,000 mark, and then let them wheel you down. It's like it just felt inauthentic to me. So I didn't like it. I worked at the company for like 6 months, and then Vivint Solar had come out here and started, and it was the cool part was the concern was it sounds too good to be true. Like this can't be, you really can't just beat the utility company, that kind of thing. And there were some crazy pitches. People were saying stuff that wasn't even accurate. And so I just was like, I was actually knocking with my manager at the time, and I said, hey, do you mind, the classic thing you're not supposed to do when you're learning, right? I said, do you mind if I do, maybe the next door? He's like, sure. I knock on the door. I'm like, hey, we're out here because we sell cheaper power than the utility company. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, we just use solar to do it. Same thing. Just instead of buying it from them, you can buy it from us, and we put the panels on the roof. They're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's come in, sign them up. And then it was crazy, especially because what the manager had been saying was not accurate. He was talking about SRECs and like credits and stuff that weren't even accurate for California or anything. And I was just like, one, this is confusing. Two, it's dishonest. So I pitched, did the first one, closed it, and I said, do you mind if I just do one more? We literally walked across the street, knock, knock, sold it. I was like, this is really simple. We literally just sell cheaper power than the utility company. We don't have to make up all these elaborate, weird things. We just got to like tell them what it is, and it makes more sense. So started out, and we did really good too on pull through. I've actually been in solar since 2012, and as you know, there's a ton of cancellations in sales in general. But I think it was like a 93% pull through. If I sold a deal, it actually went through. So, and that was without referrals. I was still just doing door to door. But it's because I would carry a copy of the contract highlighted and literally go over the contract with them. And so that they had all these questions, they had everything up front. There was no reason they would back out. It wasn't a high pressure sale, and they knew everything, so they felt confident in what they were actually doing. So did that for 2 years, and I was getting referrals kind of by accident, not intentionally. As you and I know from being in alarms, we weren't really, that wasn't a referral based sale. It was just door to door. So I started getting referrals, didn't really understand it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to kind of massage this a little bit and see what I can do. Read a book on referrals and was like, wow, this actually makes a lot of sense for this
What book
product.
was that?
Actually, I think I might have it right. I want to make sure I give the title proper here. No, it's in my truck. And I can't remember the title of it. I'll share it back. I don't want to say the wrong title, but read the book and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's different from obviously going door to door. And even though you and I were two of the best in door to door in the country and what we were doing, it was fun. But with referrals and solar, it's a totally different experience. And I like the experience better for the customer too, or the referrer. It just makes, and I mean, you and I were good at knocking doors. I haven't knocked doors in 10 years other than to train some people, but doing referrals to me just makes way more sense because you control, instead of trying to spend most of your time qualifying or find qualified buyers, most of the time referrals are qualified. By the time they get sent to you, it's like their friend or their contact knows, that they need a big bill or knows that they need a new roof or, don't have to have a new roof because it's newer, but they kind of come pre-qualified for you. So anyway, it's just become, for me, the only way I was making money was through doing referrals. And that's not even like I know some people throw out these huge fat bonuses for referrals. I think if you do it right and it's authentic, people want to help you anyway, especially because you're already helping them with crushing their electric bill or whatever other service you're providing for them.
Yeah, guys, if you're tuning in right now, we've got Ben Mack, the Mack Attack, on how he's been selling referrals only in solar for the last 10 years. How does he do it? What does he do? You're here today. You're going to find out. Ben's got some nuggets for you, but we're talking a little bit about Ben's history, where he started. And if some of you know, some of the OGs remember, Ben was one of the first trainers on the Vivid videos when they came out with DVDs in the early 2000s. So Ben was the guy on the videos. Let's go back to the original, man. How did that happen? How did you get on those videos? I know I was on a couple videos and then they never published them for whatever reason. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
But, so what happened? How did you start? How'd you start? Were you just naturally good at this or what happened?
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I've always liked people and got into it. I was pretty motivated to not graduate college with debt, to be able to be debt free. And then I saw, some of the cars and trips and stuff that other people were taking in college before I was involved in the actual business. But I was like, oh, that looks like a pretty good way to live instead of being broke through college and come out with debt and all that. So I was highly motivated anyway. We used to joke in the office. People would be like, so what are you doing? Like, what's your trick? And I'm like, oh, I'm just doing what everybody else is doing. Just getting out there knocking, staying consistent. Everybody's like, well, you're doing something different. You're making sales, on like 4-to-1 on what everybody else is doing, or 3-to-1 some of the days. And it's like, okay, well, I don't know. I guess I'm doing something a little bit different. But I don't think there's like one big, as you know, one like silver bullet you say in sales or what you're doing that like gets the deal every time. It's more just, it's 25 one-liners that actually make sense and are authentic and help the customer reduce their buying nervousness or anxiety or worry, fear of criticism from a friend or family member for buying, and they just become easier to work with. So I guess the long answer to your question is, did I start good at this? No, I've read books just like everybody else on sales and on psychology, but I think it's really just spending the time to make somebody feel important. It might sound corny, but like actually spend time, care about them. And if they can feel that sincere effort on your side to actually help solve a problem for them, then one, they're more likely to work with you, and two, they want to have their friends have that same experience.
So what would you tell a guy? Because if you guys are listening and taking notes, you should be. But being a real person and listening to them and connecting, that's something a lot of guys really have a hard time doing. It's easier for guys like us, because when we first started knocking doors, there wasn't Facebook, there wasn't Instagram, like there was no social media. There was like, I remember being on a BlackBerry my first year, like nothing to post, none of that stuff. Like it was easier. Now it's just everything's in your phones. What?
Well, you just reminded me that when do you remember when we call in on the alarm systems? You'd call in to get a credit check, and they give you
Yes.
originally they would give you the credit number. We would just like post in a group chat for our office like 629, 675, 724, just whatever the credit number was when you were closing the deal. But yeah, no social media to motivate you besides just your friends and your car group ride out or back at the end of the night.
That was it, dude. Yeah, I remember they gave us these little cards and we'd write their name and number on it, and you'd call in and hold on, I'm going to find out. It's thumbs up, we're going to do it. Thumbs down. And then I said, sorry, thumbs down, you didn't get it. But yeah, man.
They're mad at you.
And then they're mad at you. So you started out, you were started off doing pretty good, and you did a lot of really good things. And eventually you got older, you started having a family, and door to door just it didn't seem like something that could be sustainable for you. When was the decision you're like, dude, I can't keep doing this, I got to figure out an easier way to make money and more sustainable? When was that moment for you where you're like, dude, I can't keep doing this?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I forgot about it. I didn't even think that'd come up right now. But for me, I have three sons. They're now 16, 11, or 16, 13, and 11. But when they got into, I was fine when they were younger. I was fine knocking doors, whether it was alarms or solar. I was fine knocking doors because then I would spend daytime, morning time with them when they weren't in school and stuff. But excuse me, when my eldest began to go to school, I was like, okay, I'm not going to be a dad that's not around. I had the kids because I wanted to be around them. So I just committed that I would work the hours that they were in school. And then on the weekends, I would take them off, which normally, in sales, you want to be out on the weekends selling. But so I made that decision, him going into elementary school, and then same thing for the other two boys. So I still now kind of try to work just when they're gone so that they have a dad around. Yeah.
So it was a family thing for you. Like, all right, dude, I want to be around for my kids. And, I see pictures with you. Your son's bigger and better looking than you now. So I know it's hard bringing, women around the family too. It's like, dude, he's, you don't want him to, get in there. Hey, Dad, what are you doing in there, huh?
Yeah.
Is he taller than you?
He is. I think he just cracked 6'5". He's like a full inch and a half taller than me. Yeah.
Wow.
I still got him outweighed, but he's lifting, he's healthy, he eats great. But yeah, they're big boys.
Yeah, dude, just like their dad. So, guys, if you're tuning in right now, Big Daddy Mac is in the building. We are talking about how to get referrals, what to do if you're at a point in your career where, dude, this is getting hard. This is getting to where I don't know if I can keep doing this career. Do I find something else, or do I figure out a new way to do what you're good at? And I see so many people leaving the space right now because it's got harder. But what I challenge you to do is figure out a way to capitalize on all of your experience in the game by getting referrals. So if you're listening right now, pay attention, because Ben Mack has been in the game for, I think, you're in your 20th year now, right?
21 years, 21st year of being involved from alarms and solar. My first summer in alarms was 2004.
Ooh, boy, yeah, mine was, I got recruited in 08, so you got a couple years on me. So yeah, dude, you're at like year 23. So
yeah, it was just the beginning of college, so it worked out well.
Yeah.
So one of the things I was just thinking with, you said if you're burned out, or right now, there's been a ton of change in solar, and whether you're solar or you're selling roofs or other services as well, I think just one thing to really think about, like you said, not quitting and leaving altogether, but kind of going back and just to start it. Like if you're not sure how the referrals, how to get into it or what process to do, I'll share some of that right here today. But also the big thing is you don't have to get up on door knocking. You don't have to go all referral, but you can do a little bit of both, and it sort of just builds as you do that. One of the biggest things I would say is just call all of your customers. The biggest thing, you need your customer list, right? And every time you make a sale, you want to save that person's number in your phone. And that was something, I think I read that somewhere. Maybe I just used a little logic, but I'm like, with alarms, we didn't save people's phone numbers because you weren't trying to get referrals. But with solar, I have a full list that I write down, like everything. If you have a conversation with somebody, you want to have their wife or husband's or boyfriend or girlfriend's name, their kids' names, their dog's name. Like I write all this down in their contact so that I have a fresh memory of it. Like if they call, like if you've ever called somebody and they didn't have your known phone number memorized, I started thinking about like if your solar customer or roofing or whatever customer calls you, you're like, hey, who's this? It's like, that doesn't make them feel very special after they just spent, $100,000 on roofing and solar with you, and you don't even have their number saved. So I started years ago, 10 years ago or whatever, when I started focusing on referrals, have every single customer's name saved in my phone, all their information. If they've got, a birth date, slip it in there. Obviously they have a birthday, but like if I've heard their birth date, I'll slip it in there. An anniversary, any big moment kind of thing. Like I said, their kids stuff, things that are important to them, and that just like a friend, that you care about your friend and you remember stuff about your friend. That's how I would want to treat every single one of these people. And then they feel that, and that's where they're like, oh, they're thankful that you have worked with them and helped resolve a major issue for them in their electric bill. And then they're going to be happy to share their information or your information with other people as well. But the big thing is just, you got to go back, start from zero, almost look at it like knocking doors, but to your past customers, and just call them back, check on them. Even if, you're not asking for a referral right away, but just reconnect with every single one of them that you can. So you think about that, creating like this web of leads. It may not be right away they're going to call you with a referral, but at least you're on the front of their mind now. Another thing I would do is text every time you have, if you had a good conversation with them and they mentioned something about a manhole cover. So, doesn't matter the thing, but you want to remember the parts of the conversation that were important to them. And then I would text or, DM if you're friends with them on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Anytime something that you think of them, just send them a little text. Like, everybody wants to be thought of, or not forgotten about. And so if you can do these little things to create, the same relationship or stronger relationship that you had when you got the sale in the first place, that's going to help them remember you and want to keep pushing back and keep in touch with you. In fact, my birthday was a few days ago. I got a text from, I don't know, maybe 15 plus different customers sent me like actual direct text messages or DMs. Like, it's like, dude, this is kind of cool that 10 years after I did solar for this family, like, they're happy to still see me have a birthday and want to say hi. So point is creating a relationship. And then, if you've got your customer list, keep that customer list fresh by continuing to check up on them. If you're friends with them on social media, like a post, comment on, obviously all this should be sincere, but, make comments or posts and help them feel that you still do care about them, whether it was a couple years later or, 10 years later in my case.
Man, that's crazy. And guys, if you hear Ben in this story, it's like you can get the feeling that he's being intentional on these relationships. And we talk about the solar space and how it's gotten a bad reputation, but because of the players that come in here, they are not stewards of the art form. We're artists, and our art is the way we make people feel. And if you're going around pissing people off and not doing solar the right way, you're missing out on the greatness of what the solar industry is. The text messages, the relationships that you build, the business that gets sent from that. And that's one of the big things to think about is, as you're listening to this right now, what are some things you can do? Is one of the things that you can do to really do that is to curate that, is to save these customers' numbers. In your iPhone, you can actually put them in their own folder. So anytime you need anything, you can go in there and do it. And if you're super crazy, you can get a CRM and like automatically text them and do all of those different things to stay in touch with those guys, to send follow-ups every birthday, all of these things. Because the key is to let them know that you're a real person, you feel good for them, and anything that happens, people are going to be asking about solar. And if you can make an introduction or a referral because of it, it makes your life easier. And as you know, Ben lives in San Diego. He still has all of his hair. He's got a family. He lives in a good area, so he's doing things the right way. And what people wouldn't like doing that? So that's the thing, is just being intentional about this job. And if you're watching right now and listening and you're like, dude, this is hard, do what Ben just talked about. Get your customer list and rework it and just check in on them and see how they're doing. Because I guarantee you, there's probably, if you have 50, 100 customers, there's probably 3 or 4 referrals in there you got to work. And you can either get up and go out and knock doors in the rain when it's cold, or you can knock your existing customers. So that's a great nugget to take from Ben. Good share.
It's just part of being disciplined. In my experience, the best salespeople are the most disciplined in how they manage their area or manage their business in general. And I think that's part of it, saying, okay, it may not be exciting for you to call back these people that you've already sold, because it's not necessarily new money, but it is new money if you're able to get referrals out of them. And that, I think, saying, okay, I'm going to spend an hour 3 days a week doing that. And sometimes that hour will be one or two phone calls because you end up calling somebody and you're stoked to talk and you talk for a half hour. But for me, I did it. I was driving by a neighborhood that I got referred into in 2015. I was driving by it, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and I was like, oh, I wonder how that guy's doing. Just picked up the phone, called, said, hey, I was just driving by the neighborhood, just thinking about you. Guess what? He just did a whole battery for his house, not backup, full home backup or full home battery. Not because I wasn't calling to sell him that, but because I called because I was thinking about him and it was sincere. He's like, hey, I've been thinking about batteries. I was like, oh yeah, we can look at that. I just did a whole battery system for him. So just little things like that, it's I think it's, it's little, it's sincere, but it feels real and people are motivated by it.
Yeah, man. That's what today's society is like. It's so fake and everything is just like internet and craziness. And that's why it's so refreshing to have realness. So if you're watching this right now, do you guys feel that Ben's being real and authentic right now? You like that? That's why authentic is my brand. It's like, dude, just be a real ass dude and enjoy life. Cause bro, it's going to go quick. And it's like, if you're authentic, you're real and you genuinely care about people, it shows. And that's how you get referrals. It's a mindset shift from what it sounds like, right, Ben?
Totally. That's actually one thing I was going to jump in right now and say is part of becoming a referral-based sales rep or manager or whatever business is changing your mindset, especially if you're coming from a door-to-door dominant responsibility, or whether you're a lead gen, appointment center or a closer, you see yourself as the closer or that, not necessarily by referral. So when you make the mindset change, so I do work by referral, and I'll tell you a couple things to do here that you guys can write down, but that changing your mindset also then changes it for the customer. Instead of them seeing you as just the door-to-door person that happened to knock on their door, or if you're calling them off of a lead or whatever, you basically just have to tell them that you work by referral. They may not know, especially if their experience was that they were not referred to you. You knocked on their door, you bought a lead and called them. They don't know that you work by referral, so you literally have to say that you work by referral. Sounds dumb, but it's important, because what they don't know. So you're going to tell them I work by referral. Now, one of the things that I do that I got from this book, man, I just want to blank on the name again. I thought I would have it. But anyway, the first thing I would do is get on your phone now and change your voicemail. If you have no voicemail, I don't know why it's giving the thumbs up. Get on and change your voicemail to, hey, this is Ben. If you're calling about solar, please let me know who referred you. Or you can say, thanks for calling, whatever your normal message is. And you say, if you're calling about solar, please let me know who referred you. The reason that's important is because then they're like, oh, if they don't know that you work by referral, they're going to find out then. And it's also a reminder, and it's setting the expectation of, okay, I do work by referral. So you tell yourself that, you tell them that, and then whether or not they're calling to give you a referral, it puts it in their mind. So it's like the first thing I would do. Another thing I would do, if you have business cards, I would put by referral only or by appointment only, something to indicate that you have a little bit of exclusivity. I mean, I'm a very inclusive person, but you still also want to set kind of a standard or expectation of how you do your business. So for a while I had by referral only. People start, like, they would ask, hey, is it okay if I give you a referral? Like, it starts to kind of qualify you as somebody, as the professional in the area or the industry. So I would add that. If you can wrap your car, I would definitely wrap your car. If you have permission, if you're working for a company or if you own your company, I wrapped a Prius that I had. Didn't you have a Prius? Did you have a Prius?
I did. And then it got totaled.
So did mine.
By the same person, I bet.
So yeah, well, actually, mine was kind of a funny story. I felt bad. A good friend of mine started working with me, and then I was going to Hawaii when I was first doing remote solar. I was going to Hawaii for the summer, and I said, hey, why don't you just take it? You can use it while I'm gone. And then that was summer of 2018, I think. And then went to Hawaii, came back, and I was like, I'll just keep using it. And then I went to Hawaii the next summer, and he has driven it for a full year. He finally was like, dude, I feel really bad. I've been driving your car for like over a year. He's like, let me just buy it from you. I'm like, all right, I don't need it back. I guess you can buy it for me. He bought it from me. And then I swear that like the next week, he just pulled out in front of somebody, didn't see a car coming, got T-boned and wrecked the car after he finally paid for it. I was like, oh, dude, I felt bad. But,
no takesy backsies.
Yeah. But anyway, so what I was going to say is if you can wrap the car, it was like $1,300 or $1,800 or something. It
Yeah.
provides a little more legitimacy. You pull up in front of the house. It's helpful. The point of me saying that is because the more legitimate you look and act, you actually got to pull through on your promises. More comfortable people are going to be sharing referrals with you.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the louder you get, the more people see it. I mean, it's all about marketing, man.
Yeah, and you're all like, obviously your car, and if you can put up yard signs, I would put up yard signs. I did that when I first started working with Vivint Solar. I don't know where I got the idea from, but I started putting them up, and it was actually such a big deal. They came out and said you could not put them up. We had to take them all down and stuff. And then they saw how many referrals I was getting from people seeing the yard signs and then seeing me in the neighborhood and me talking. That I think at one point Vivint went back and not only said that you didn't. They stopped saying you can't have them, but I think also they were paying for them at some point for the reps too. I'm like, okay, so if you can put yard signs up in your area, it just creates more and more legitimacy, and people are seeing you. It's like seeing any other big brand every time you go to a convenience store or whatever. You just recognize that.
Yeah, absolutely. Nuggets, guys, be taking notes on this. Ben, keep spitting, baby.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I got a little list here for everybody. So another big thing, people are like, well, how do I, if I'm not getting referrals, like how do I start that conversation, or like tell them, that I, besides the kind of corny, I just never loved the, hey, could you write down 3 names of people that you can refer me to? Like, I know some guys like that. Some guys do well with that. I wanted mine to feel more natural. So people were like, oh, yeah, kind of like you refer a friend to a movie or something. You're like, oh, dude, you got to see this new movie. It's so good. That's how I want people to refer their friends to me in solar. Oh, dude, you got to work with this guy. And literally people would call me and be like, hey, even though I know you're not working for the company anymore, that because I worked with Vivint for like a year and a half and then Solar City, and then I started my company. But people would call and say, hey, I know you're not working for the company that you set up my friend with, but he says, I have to work with you. I'm like, why? Like, well, they said you just went over everything. You answered everything. You were patient. You got them totally comfortable. It was like their friends really were selling me to their friend. And so that's, for me, like, you want to be able to have that set up so that it's not this like kind of, and it might be rough a little bit at first as your first thing, just like you learn a new pitch. It might be rough to start asking for referrals or talking about them. But this, what I'm gonna tell you right now, I think is a very, very big thing. Makes it easy for you, and actually provides the results. So what I would do is the first conversation you have with them, you just bring up referrals. Not saying, can I have them? But you say, okay, well, I just finished doing solar for whatever one of your other houses was. They had a similar roof to you. They were referred to me because, and you can give whatever story it is. So just as we know in sales, all the selling is done through telling stories. Instead of just saying, oh, I just knocked on this family's door, I just sold this person this or that, you explain this person was referred to me. So it puts you again as like the professional, makes you a little bit more explicit because people are being brought to you, kind of brings you up in the customer's eyes. And then just tell whatever story you're going to tell it, but tie it to a referral. They were referred to me because they had a $350 bill just like you guys. They're still going to click with that. And then you're saying they were referred to me, they referred to me. Then that starts putting into their minds, one, this guy's not just some door-to-door guy that we don't know if we can trust, but it's also, okay, this guy works by referral. And now, we're going to have experience with them. And if it goes well, then we're going to want to refer our friends to them. So just bringing it up, talking about it, to me, like much of the time, I wasn't even asking for referrals. I would just talk about during the sales process, talk about each story tied to a referral. And then they would end up referring, asking if they could give me referrals, or if I thought their friend would qualify for different various programs. So the point is, I would bring up referrals as soon as you can, just by telling stories about them. Every story should be tied to it might be, these guys want to run AC. We've all had people that are like, oh man, yeah, I just don't run my AC that much because I don't want to pay for it. So you tell the story. Yeah, these guys were like you. They were actually referred to me because they wanted to run AC, but they had to keep it set at 82 because they couldn't afford their electric bill on their fixed income, or they're both working 2 jobs, whatever it is. And just make sure that they understand it's a referral that you were given.
Yeah, that's like an easy little like salt you can put on your steak of your presentation, is like every person you talk to, you'd be like, yep, that guy was referred to me, that guy was referred to me, that guy was referred to me.
It's exactly how it works. And it just it legitimizes you really quickly, because it's not just you begging for the sale as a door-to-door person or somebody calling off of a lead. People are coming to you or bringing their friends to you, and that gives whoever you're with right then the confidence to say yes. But then it also will have them work with you and bring your referrals to you.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more things here. Actually, I have a ton more, but just to keep.
Well, we're gonna real quick, Ben. We're gonna pause. We got to hear from some of our sponsors right now.
Okay.
So if you guys are liking this, throw some love in the comments, guys. Ben Mack is absolutely ripping today. Ben is showing you guys another way to make money in solar. It's getting referrals. It's not harder, it's different. And you just got to know how to do it. And getting new lines of income requires you trying and finding a professional to go out and do it. So if you're only knocking and you only have one stream, Ben's talking about opening up another one. But another stream that you might not have considered is getting homeowner data. You've heard about it. People are talking, and it's a huge way people are getting deals in solar. Digital door knocking. Deal Machine is one of the #1 go-to places in the solar industry if you're trying to get homeowner data. If you know a city you want to knock, you can go into that city with Deal Machine, target the homes between a certain home value, a certain sun hours, and then also how long ago they moved in, and a certain square foot of the house, and you can get all of the data of those specific homes that you like hitting. If you only like hitting 2-story homes in a certain neighborhood with the house a certain above value, you can get with Deal Machine and they can get you a list of every single one of those homes, scrape it on the do not call list, and now you have a whole list of the perfect types of homes you want to hit. So right now, as you're going into November, December, January, let's talk about working smart. Let's re-hit our customers with what Ben's talking about, but also go get new customers by working smart with Deal Machine. So if you're watching this right now and you want to reinvest in your business, there's a link in the comments for Deal Machine. Click the link. You get a special Pessy discount when you sign up. And the owner, David, he's actually on the call right now. What's up, David? He will actually show you how to use this. If you don't know how to do it at all, no problem. He'll walk you through this hand in hand, and they have weekly connections for their community to show you how to do this. If you guys do not start finding other ways to make money in this industry, you'll go try to find easier jobs. And that's what we're finding right now is people are looking for the lowest hanging fruit. You have such an experience in this industry, don't throw it away. Figure out how to make more money with your expertise by getting referrals and getting leads. The other way that you can start generating more money is you build a team. You start recruiting guys and making an override on it. If you don't know how to get qualified people in the door, contact Volation. Volation is a recruiting agency that places reps onto your organization. These guys can get you high quality individuals, some better than others, but they get you in the door so that you start training these guys to go out and knock and building your team. One of the hardest issues was back in my day before social media, we had to go to college campus and we tried to grab kids for a summer program. Now we can be on their cell phones every minute with TikTok, Instagram, Vine, Snapchat, the whole thing. So if you are looking to build a team, contact Volation. The owners of it used to sell with me at Vivint back in the day. They would go out, knock doors, and knocking doors of new recruits. So if you guys are looking to build a team, contact up them. You'll have a meeting with my buddy Billy. Billy and I sold in Pittsburgh together back in 2014. He'll give you some funny stories of back in the heyday. But if you're looking to build a team, hit them up. If you need data, hit up Deal Machine. Both links are in the comments, guys. So now is the time to build. Find different sources of income. A good deal can pay you a couple $1,000. A good recruit can pay you a couple $1,000 a month for the rest of your life as long as you take them good. Do not underestimate building a team. And that's what's so important is to have longevity, is having different avenues of income in your business. And that's what we're talking about here today. And Ben Mack, our star speaker of the day, is talking about getting referrals. So we're back right now, guys. If you guys are on the call, show Ben some love, throw some comments there, some fire signs. I want to see 5 fire signs for Ben. Not only is he dropping fire, but I've had a couple women message me, hey, is he single? Hey, he's handsome. What's going on here? We got Ashton Buswell, big legacy killer, the first guy, the setter legend. He came in, showed you some love. What's up, Ashton? Great job the other day. You crushed it. So yeah, man, quick recap for the guys checking in. Ben's talking about getting referrals. What's some big nuggets we just spoke about? And then I know you got a couple more for everybody out there.
Yeah. Wait, are you asking me to recap real quick?
Yeah, quick recap.
Well, first thing, I think Steve's going to do the thumb. Anyway, first thing I would do is change your voicemail so that it says, if you are calling for solar, let me know who referred you. Just legitimizes you, puts referrals in their mind. I would save every single person's contact, even the ones that maybe do not qualify or that didn't go through. You can circle back at a different time, obviously using your own social skills to see if it makes sense for them, for you to circle back down the road for whatever reason. But I would wrap your car if you can. If you've got business cards, I would put by appointment or by referral only. Creates a little bit of legitimacy there as well. And then the biggest thing is bringing up referrals, not necessarily asking for them right away, but just explaining that this person was referred to you to solve this problem, and then you can share a story on how you solve that problem for them. But just talking about referrals in general will then get people thinking about it, talking to you, or bringing them to you. Yeah, so it's kind of continuing here, just a couple of things that I think are, for me, I think they're really helpful. The first text or the text that you send them, most of the time I will use the sun emoji if it's a solar related, if I'm dealing with a solar issue. But before I start the actual text, inside the text messages, I will put the sun to start, and then I'll type whatever I'm going to type. The biggest reason I do that, one, is just because of the visual like reminder. Every time they see my name or my message, it's got a sun there, so they remember it's solar. The other part of that is if you get a million text messages or emails like most of us do, it's all black and white. So I want that when they come back later, like if they don't have a chance to respond right away, when they're going through their phone later at night or whenever they have that moment, it's not just black and white, black and white, black and white. With you, they're going to have a sun or some other emoji that you can use, so that as they're scrolling through black and white, boom, it's like having a flag on your email if you have an important email you need to get back to. So I always do a sun. I do different emojis depending on what the topic is I'm doing. If I'm speaking even outside of solar, if I'm speaking to different people about stuff, but it's because it breaks up the black and white and gets their attention for you. So I found I get a little more. I'll do a sun or the smiley face emoji, but I just get a little bit more attention, I think, in response, by having that and being remembered because it's there. So I would do that. Another big one. I think if you're doing in-home appointments, I think there's a lot of people that are switching to remote solar or have the last. I guess I started doing remote solar 7 years ago, but anyway, if you're going to people's houses, I would take off your shoes. For most houses, I would take off your shoes. I know there's probably some houses out there you don't want to, but I think it's a sign of respect. And even if they don't take them off, I can't tell you how many people I've taken them off and they're like, "Oh no, you're fine." I'm like, "Well, I take them off in my own house, so I'll show you the same respect." It's just a little subtle thing of like, "Oh wow, I like this person. They're being respectful of my home, of my property, of my my living, my space." So for me, that was just one of the biggest things that I would do is take those shoes off, leave them there, and let them be thankful for it. Another big one for referrals is one, just reliability, and specifically one term that I use is on an email or a text. You say "as promised" when you get back with someone regarding whether it's a question or a proposal or an answer on roofing or whatever it is. I always say "as promised." Here's the answer to whatever the question was. But the reason I do that is you're reminding them that you're reliable, because people want to work with you if you're reliable, and they're going to want to bring you their friends if you're reliable. If you don't get your stuff done, they're not going to want to bring you business. They're going to be embarrassed. So you remind them that you kept your promise is the point. You say "as promised." And then keep it on going here. Another thing when you're setting, depending on your model, if you're knocking the door yourself or if you're calling the customer yourself or whatever it is, as you're setting appointments, this should be sales 101, but you don't want to look completely available all the time, like you have nothing else going on and this is your one person to try to talk to. Hopefully you're busier than that in the first place. But I typically have like a little buffer where I'll say, "Listen, I'm already booked tomorrow or the next couple of days," or whatever your schedule looks like. You say, "But I'll be back in your area, or I could get back to you with the answers that you're looking for, not tomorrow, but the next day." And then try to use a little bit of just, I guess, logic in talking to them and figure out when would it be easy for them to meet too. I always tell people, like, people want easy, right? So the quicker or the easier you can make it to work with you, to give you a yes, to start the process, the better it's going to be. So if you know that they're not available from 9 to 5 because they have a job that they can't get out of, then say, "Yeah, I'm not going to be back here but I'm going to be back here, but I'm not available till 6 p.m. Would that work for you? They're going to be like, yeah, that is. Thanks for making it easy. I've seen some reps that like really kind of, I think screw that up because they're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. It's like, dude, just every once in a while, it's okay to like make it easier for them and inconvenience yourself, so that the deal can happen. So I would just, the point of that one is just explain that you're not available all the time, that your schedule does get booked up. You're already booked these couple days with referrals, right? You're not just gonna say, oh, I'm booked because I'm going with my buddy for a bachelor party. You're booked because you're working and busy and people want to work with you so that, so you can work with them once you have the time available. Another big one, I think, for referrals, this all goes back to the gratitude and being authentic. Instead of, when they sign, the first thing I do, sometimes there's, tense tense energy there if you're like trying to get them to move a little further and make the close. Excuse me. But for me, the one of the biggest things is when they sign, whether it's, with ink or whether it's electronically, I stop right there, like have this energetic break, and I pause, you look them right in the eyes, you say, thank you for your business. I know you can work with, and you don't, this isn't to sound desperate. It's like, oh, thank you so much. You see reps that screw that stuff up. I think it should be a communication of gratitude, because they do have a million choices for who they're going to get for roofing, solar, whatever the service is. But you just stop, look them in the eyes. I'll even stand up if we're sitting, shake their hand, old school, like we were just talking about, Pessy, like old school communication method of sincerity. Shake them, say thank you for your business. I really appreciate it. I know you have other options too. You're going to be really happy because, and just reassure them. So, so they thank you.
Yeah, dude, 'cause that's the thing too, is I see so much like contradicting stuff. Like they're lucky to do business with you. Like they're like be so busy and so packed that it's a privilege to buy from you. It's like, bro, these are real people.
Yeah.
If someone played that to me, I'd be pissed. Like, bro, get the freak out of here, man.
Well, and both
Like,
things can happen. You can be very busy. You could be the top. I mean, you and I have been two of the top reps in the country for alarms and for solar. You can be that, but you can still be respectful and thankful. They're not mutually
yeah,
exclusive. So, and you should. I've taught in different trainings, guys. To have that mentality that it is a pleasure and an honor to work with you because you're going to be honest, or you're going to be on time, or you're going to do what you say you're going to do. But that they can both happen where you pause and say thank you for trusting me. And that's a big one too for referrals. I'll say thank you for trusting Mark for referring you. This is, I know you have other options, so I appreciate it. And I've even said like, this is how I take care of my family. This is my full-time job. So, just sharing that authentic side, like you were saying.
yeah, man, dude, because that's in today's society, bro. That's going away. Everyone's just trying to gouge each other and like maximize PPW and profits. It's like, dude, before this whole solar boom, it was always people above profits, and then it became profits above people. Like you're seeing a certain large organization that's getting blasted online for deceptively selling people, and it's like, bro, you don't need to do that. You can still make great money because if you get one, you're not going to get the others. And it's like, if you really think long term and you take care of this community, you take care of the neighborhood you work in, people are going to come around for you and continue to get you deals. Like just since we've been on this call, I've got a customer that I set up a while ago. She's now referring her daughter to me. And it's like, dude, it's just nuts how this stuff works. It's just you take care of people and people take care of you. And dude, it's like that's considered old fashioned. It's like, bro, how's that old? That's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of that is just short-sighted. Whether hopefully it's mostly immature and young reps that are just learning the ropes. But if you think you're really just going to be in an area knocking it door to door and then you're boom, getting out of there, like, okay, but that's very short-sighted because if you really actually plant the trees right, you're going to have referral orchard of consistent business that will come in throughout the entire year as long as you do your part working it, like we've talked about. But it's not worth taking the extra money and trying to hammer on somebody for one deal. Somebody else is going to get in there and end up taking the deals that you could get. So
yeah, some permit poacher is going to come in there and just expose the crap that you sold, and dude, you're shot. Now you get nothing because you were greedy.
Yeah, totally. One thing as we were talking about, just being thankful for them, shaking their hand. So that's also the time that you can, without it being corny, but you can say, hey, now that you've had, and I've said this, especially at the high, right? We're on sales. Hopefully you can read the people. If you can tell they're excited and thankful for working with you and they feel comfortable or they've said something about it, you can remind them to say, now that you've had the experience of working with me to get the solar, and this could be right after they sign, this could be, after on the day of install, let them feel what that felt like working with you. Now you've had that experience, is there anyone else you think that would appreciate having the same experience you've had, as long as the experience was good? But then they're like, oh yeah, okay, I do have friends that have talked about solar or whatever the product or services that you're doing, but that they can bring them to you because they're confident and they're comfortable in the experience that you gave them. That's when I would ask, just like, do you have anybody else you think that would appreciate having this type of experience? Because most of us, and I use this line in the, not a line, it's actually true, but I use this explanation in the sales process to say most people, especially in home improvement, have had or know someone who has had a bad experience. Like, it's just, whether it's tile, whatever the home improvement project is, contractors get the job most of the way done, then either they make an error and they don't come back and fix it, or they take forever to come back and fix it. And so you giving the customer a good experience and then reminding them that you gave them a good experience, that's what they're going to want their friend. And they're going to have, either their own or friends that have had a bad experience. And so, of course, if they can refer somebody to you that you're going to be reliable and get the job done, of course they want to do that, versus take the risk for some other, another bad experience. A couple other things still on how to develop more referrals. One thing that I did huge when I first started pushing for the referral-based business was take a picture of the house, and this could go whether it's solar or roof or whatever, but take a picture of the house before the solar, take a picture of the house after the solar, post them on your Instagram, tag them, or Facebook or whatever, tag them, but put the picture side by side and put, $350 bill, $160 bill after the solar. That visual and your contact info being on there, I got tons of referrals from that. Just by tagging the customer, becoming their friends. I would become their friends. I had created initially a separate Facebook and I think Instagram account, so I could do what I was thinking was going to be a work account. I ended up being, authentically friends with everybody, so I just now have used it all in one anyway. But my point is, you could create a second Instagram account or Facebook account if you want to become friends with all these people.
Smart.
Okay. Oh, the other thing I would do is I would create a work contact in your phone that you can send them so that they can save it. So mine says Ben Mack -solar with the sun. So that's how I'm saved in their phone. So again, they see the emoji if they're flipping through their contacts. It's always tied to me. It's a bright yellow. It's a good looking color. And then you put whatever information you want in there. You could put as company name, you could put your company, you could put $250 for, I was doing $250 per referral. And I had other people that were offering 500, 1,000, a few thousand for referrals. And I just didn't need to do that because it was more about the experience and the actual connection. So you put whatever you want in it as your motivator or your incentive for them.
Yeah, because real quick, we got a couple comments on here. So Richard said, do you recommend a referral fee? You just touched on it. Jeff Green, what's up, dog? Thanks for jumping in, Big Jeff. Good to see you. Richard wants to know, recommend on a referral fee. And I mean, I think I kind of know what you're going to say on it, but what would you say on that?
I mean, I've done $250 for referral for the last 10 years. So it's up to you.
It sounds like it's less about the dollar amount and the more about the experience you create around it. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, they should, I mean, of course it's motivating, it's exciting, but for them to get money. Or I was talking with another buddy of mine today, and he's like, I also like to buy them things that are valuable to them, like maybe something they wouldn't buy for themselves, whether it's, shoes or this or that, something they need for their house. You can say, oh, you need that? Well, why don't I get that for you? You give me 3 referrals. When we get them installed, I'll buy you whatever thing, Bose speakers or not Bose, Sonos. I'm looking at mine.
Yeah, you go, oh, god dang, no, Bose, huh? I got some Skool candies for you, dog. Thanks.
I don't know where that came from. Anyway, yeah, you buy them whatever they need. Again, and then the thing too that I like about that over just the cash is it's something that they continue to use, and they'll always remember that you got it for them. Whether it's a couple years down the road, they can still brag about their solar sales rep who was a real cool person and actually connected with them and helped them. By the way, I can't see any of the comments because I'm on a different web page filming this, so I'm sorry for anything that I haven't seen, but I'm down to go through these.
Yeah, no, Richard agreed, and that's That's the thing, man. It's just an experience. And it's like, it's just taking a mindset, guys. Like right now, the world's so chaotic. And a lot of us have been here for a good amount of time. There was a huge wave in 2020. I know when alarms died out and, 1920 and everyone shifted over and there was a big boom. And, now people are like, dude, is this still it? And it's like, it isn't what it is. It's you, your skills, and how you run your business is what it is. Yeah. And the people that are sucking now probably sucked before the boom. And at the end of the day, you got to look in the mirror. It's what's your skill set? What do you have going for you outside of an easy marketplace with low interest rates? Do you know how to get referrals? Do you know how to motivate? Do you know how to recruit? Do you know how to be a good person and get people sending you business? All of these things, guys, we have been in a fairy tale the last couple of years, and we need to wake up. That's not how the world works. Okay, you can't just half-ass it and get paid $30,000, $40,000 on jobs anymore. Those days are done. The money's there, but it's going to take you 2, 3, 4 times as hard to get there. You have to start developing a skill set. And honestly, I'm super lucky, and I'm sure you are too, Ben. You can attest to this. Is I was in a harder industry, home security, for years where there was no benefits to it, of outside agencies contributing to the sector. Like I had to learn things the hard way so that when I did get into an industry with outside government assistance, it took off. And a lot of the people that didn't have that experience learning are now getting their asses kicked and they're going to the next easiest thing. They're going to different industries. Like, guys, it's not the other industries that's the problem. It's you. Get better. Start learning techniques. Sales is nothing to be ashamed of. We make the world go round. Right? If it wasn't for sales, every industry would stop dead and this planet would cease to function as a community. Like we are the lifebone. We are what keeps this country going. And there comes a point where you need to learn how to do it. You need to learn how to freaking find a customer and make him a referral partner for life. Okay, you got to start figuring out this stuff because guess what? You go to the next industry, you ride the wave, then it crashes. What, are you going to ride waves for the rest of your life and not have any skills? Like skill up. This is an art form. I was watching this thing on Netflix right now. If you guys saw, there's this new Japanese thing on Netflix. It's like about the samurai. And it's so cool to see how these old school samurais had this amazing skill set, but the new world wanted to wipe them out. And it's like, we're kind of getting into a situation like this. The salesmanship has been so pushed down, so frowned upon that people think it's an unhonorable profession, which I couldn't say it's further from the truth. People just don't have the skills. It becomes fun when you do it right because you're serving people at a high level.
Totally.
And you do that, Ben. I mean, it's just a testament for you to be here for as long as you have. So guys, we're running towards the end of the time here, but I hope you got some value, man. And I love talking to Ben. He's doing it right, guys. He's a father. He has kids. He's got work-life balance. This is what you strive for. You don't need to be slamming Adderall. You don't need to be doing energy drinks. A lot of the bad stereotypes of what solar bros need to do, there's a way to do it, but you got to have the skills, right? Yep. And if you find a way to make this as a career, you can continue to make money. And that's why it's so important to learn how to recruit, learn how to sell online, and get referrals. And Ben just talked to you guys about how to get referrals. If you guys are watching and you're just tuning in, Deal Machine's one of our big sponsors. They have a way for you to digital door knock. If you like hitting certain types of homes, 2 stories, south-facing roof, 3,000 square foot houses, with Deal Machine, it's a way for you guys to go in there and target the homes you want in a certain area code and narrow it down to just the homeowners you want to hit, get it on the scrape it off the do not call list, and you can actually contact your ideal customers, saving you time and money. So as it starts to become the slow season, November, December, January, start thinking of other ways to grow your income. Okay, with virtual sales and then recruiting a team. Volation is one of our other sponsors. They are a recruiting service. I've worked with both of these guys. I went out and used the Deal Machine app. It works. It kicks ass. The data's sick. And Volation was an agency that would recruit us reps when I was at Vivint. Now they're going out on their own and recruiting for individual sales orgs. So that's another great way, is building a team. Okay, after 3 to 4 years of selling, guys, it's time for you to start shifting into managing and running teams. Okay, you do not want to be the guy that spends his whole life just selling. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck, right? You want to figure out a way to duplicate yourself, and that's with building and recruiting a team. So I put the links in the comments. If you guys are ready to invest in your business, get on a demo. If you want to see this digital door knocking, our Deal Machine does a 7-day free trial. The owner, David, he's on the call right now. He'll walk you through how to do it. It's super cool. Once you guys figure out virtual selling, it's fun. Okay. And then if you want to build a team, jump on a phone call with Volation. They'll explain to you how the process works and get people on your head knocking ASAP. So with that, guys, that's going to conclude episode 3. Let me know in the comments what you guys like best about this episode. And if you felt you've got some value, Ben, thank you so much for jumping on here and blessing us with like applicable nuggets, just being yourself. Any final words for all of the solar pros out there?
I'd say one last tip would just send a gift or bring a gift by their house. I typically do that right after they sign. I'm just, again, going back to sincerity, find something that's related to a conversation that you had or some other need. It could be, for a lot of time I was using a couple different gift services, and for $15, $20, you can send them a card and brownies or something like that is just simple and lets them know that you're thankful for it. Doesn't have to be a huge gift right away, but that, I think, too, helps it be a little bit stickier, and then you can let them know that you're open to helping their friends as well. So start the good process right away. But yeah, thanks. It's good to catch up with you on here too.
Yeah, buddy. Ben, you're the man. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Solar Pros. Will conclude episode 3 of the Big Beautiful broadcast. We've got 3 more episodes. We'll see you guys next Monday. Tune in, and we'll have a couple prompts for you guys to ask questions for our next speaker. All right, guys.